Before anesthesia, the most dangerous place in medicine was not always the disease. Sometimes, it was the room meant to save you. You are there, standing at the edge of a 19th century operating theater, and everyone knows the same rule. This must be fast. There is no peaceful sleep waiting for you. No modern monitor. No quiet drift into darkness. Your body will be awake for the test. The surgeon does not have the luxury of time. Before reliable anesthesia, speed was not style. Speed was survival. Pain could throw a patient into panic. Panic could break restraint. Restraint could fail. And one uncontrolled moment could change everything. The clock on the wall matters almost as much as the knife. Every second adds fear, shock, and the possibility that the body will simply give way. Alcohol, opium, and laudanum might dull the edge for some patients, but they could not erase the reality of the operation. Assistants are not here only to help the surgeon. In many cases, they are here to hold you still when instinct takes over. Outside, the city keeps moving. Inside, the room becomes a trap of wood, steel, candle smoke, and human limits. Cleanliness exists, but germ theory has not yet reshaped every operating room. A washed hand is not always a safe hand. Instruments can be sharp, practiced, and deadly efficient. But before antisepsis, even a successful cut can carry a danger you cannot see. You may be told to bite cloth, pray, breathe, or endure. But endurance is not a plan. It is only the first door. The surgeon's reputation depends on nerve. Your survival depends on his precision, his speed, and what medicine has not yet learned. Students watch from above because surgery is also a performance of control. But the person on the table is not watching a lesson. He is living the consequence. The hallway before the theater is the last quiet place. Once the door opens, the past gives no mercy. Many operations before anesthesia had to be short and external. Limbs, stones, abscesses, tumors. The deeper body remained terrifying territory. Your hand grips the table because there is nowhere else for terror to go. The room demands stillness from a body built to escape pain. The surgeon checks the time because a slow operation is not simply unpleasant. It can become a fight against shock. The students write down technique, but the missing lesson is fear. Fear fills the room without needing to be named. Bandages wait beside metal and linen. If the operation succeeds, the next battle begins after the room goes quiet. From outside, the theater may look like a place of science. From inside, it can feel like a machine built around your nerves. The tools of relief are limited. A bottle can blur the mind, but it cannot guarantee silence inside the body. The surgeon's shadow grows larger than the man himself. In this room, authority is measured in seconds. If your wrists are fixed to the table, it is not cruelty for spectacle. It is fear that movement could turn an operation into disaster. Pre-anesthetic surgery rewarded the fastest hands. But speed has a cost. The margin between skill and catastrophe is painfully thin. The door opens, and the room pulls you in. There is no pause button in history. The instruments are arranged with care. That care matters. Yet care alone cannot defeat pain, contamination, or the unknown inside the wound. In the ward, everyone understands what surgery means. It is not routine. It is a last resort, chosen when the alternative may be worse. The surgeon studies by candlelight, but knowledge has boundaries. Before anesthesia and antisepsis, even excellent technique could meet invisible enemies. On the table, the ceiling becomes the only horizon. You are surrounded by faces, but survival feels deeply alone. Water in a basin can look reassuring, but before modern infection control, the smallest unseen life could decide the ending. Laundry, drains, crowded wards, reused cloth. The hospital itself can become part of the risk. Cold air enters through a high window. It may steady the room, but it cannot cool the fear inside it. Needles and thread are waiting for the end. But closing the body is not the same as saving it. The surgeon and assistants speak in low voices. A decision has been made. Once the first step begins, hesitation becomes dangerous. Then, In the 1840s, a new possibility begins to appear, not courage, not speed, but unconsciousness. On October 16, 1846, a public ether demonstration in Boston helped mark the beginning of modern surgical anesthesia. For the first time, surgeons could imagine operating without racing every nerve in the human body. But anesthesia did not solve everything at once. The knife could become slower, but infection still waited after the procedure. The operation ends, and the room falls silent. Yet the real question remains: did you survive surgery or only survive the table? Recovery is another corridor. Fever, swelling, exhaustion, and infection can turn victory into a delayed defeat. A wrapped limb, a weak hand, a quiet bed. This is where the body begins its second trial. Dawn does not promise safety. In the old surgical ward, the next hours may matter as much as the minutes under the knife. The surgeon walks away carrying the burden of a century that had skill before it had mercy. The instrument chest closes, but the danger does not disappear. It follows the patient into the wound, the ward, and the night. Some surgeons were brave. Some were brilliant. But before modern anesthesia and antisepsis, brilliance still worked inside brutal limits. The empty theater remembers what the audience forgets. Survival was never guaranteed by applause, technique, or speed. Imagine placing your feet at the edge of that table, knowing that the cure might demand every ounce of your control. Hanging aprons, folded cloth, cold tools. Ordinary objects become symbols of a world before painless surgery. A tourniquet can control one danger while creating another. Every solution in this room comes with a price. Outside the hospital, the city sleeps. Inside, one lit window means someone is facing the oldest bargain in medicine. In rural rooms and battlefield corners, surgery could be even harsher. Less equipment, less help, less time, and no safe escape from pain. The room may be still in a single image, but the tension inside it is not still. It is counting down. Families wait in silence because there are no guarantees to give them. Surgery before anesthesia is hope sharpened into danger. From far away, the table looks small. That is the truth of survival. One body against an entire century of limitations. A bell cord hangs beside the table. Help can be called, but not always in time. Today, the instruments sit behind glass. But once, they were not museum pieces. They were the edge between suffering and survival. Rain clears over the hospital roof, and history moves forward. But for the patient inside, progress arrives one breath too late or just in time. The table is empty now. The straps are open. The room has no voice, but it asks the same question. If you had entered surgery before anesthesia, awake, restrained, and racing the clock, could you survive this?